Hello YouTube, Shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome review. So it's Sunday night, you know what that means? Time for some wrestling. Pay-per-view wrestling to be exact. Tonight it's time for WWE's Hell in a Cell. Tonight, brutality will be realized, scores will be settled, and bodies will be broken. So how is it gonna go? Got my notes. Let's get started. We start off with the pre-show with the six-man tag rematch from last Monday's Raw between Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville versus Rusev, Wade Barrett, or King Barrett, and Sheamus. This was actually a pretty decent, good matchup. If I said on the WrestleCast that I didn't really care for this matchup, it changed my mind, mostly because Cesaro looked fucking fantastic. He was the MVP of this match. And it was a fantastic match, to say the least. But of course, after doing what he does, Cesaro swing in a ton of European uppercuts, the end comes with a nice little red arrow from Neville on King Barrett. 1, 2, 3, the faces win. Good way to warm the crowd up. Next up, we get to the show proper. First, on the first match, surprisingly, is John Cena's United States title open challenge. Yes, for the first time ever, John Cena's signature open challenge match comes to a pay-per-view, and he opens us off. He decides to take on any, of course, as with the US challenge, he will take on any and all comers who decide that they want to take him on. Now, there was a rumor and speculation. You've already seen my reaction video. It's in the description. So you've already seen them. I'll probably put an annotation of it somewhere. So make sure you watch it. But anyway, Zeb Coulter comes out. We haven't seen Zeb in a long time, and he's coming out in a sort of a scooter sort of thing, and says it's time for Cena to hang it up. So who does he bring out? Not Tyler Breeze, not Finn Balor, not Samoa Joe. Alberto Del Rio! That's right. El Patron is back in the WWE. I have no earthly clue how they got him back, considering how he left the WWE in the first place, but he's back. And they take on to our first match. John Cena, Alberto Del Rio, for the United States title. This was a short match, but it was good to show so much in fantastic shape Del Rio has been in, and his time in Lucha Underground and AAA have sharpened him up a little bit. The end comes when he lands a very hard side kick to the head, which JBL touts as being the one that gave him his world title run against Dolph Ziggler. 1, 2, 3. John Cena loses, and Alberto Del Rio becomes the United States champion. Yes! Or what about see! Awesome. Next up, the first of our 2 Hell in a Cell matches. Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, one-on-one, Hell in a Cell. This will be the first time these two have ever stepped in this foreboding structure, but they used their time wisely. This was a war. They used tables, they used kendo sticks, they used chairs. It was a fantastic, fantastic match, just to say the least. Probably Roman Reigns' best match. Very physical matchup, and Roman picks up the win. A lot of people didn't agree with that, but hey, it showed, and the fans popped for him. So hey, it's a pretty good match. Watch it. Next up, for the WWE Tag Team titles, The New Day, consisting of Kofi Kingston and Big E Langston, or Big E, sans Xavier Woods, takes on the Dudley Boys for the third time. Now, Xavier Woods is not here because he went through a table on Monday Night Raw, so he is injured. So, this was a pretty good tag team match. These two teams worked extraordinarily well together. There were some nice little spots with some tributes to a certain Latino that we all love and miss. But yeah, New Day picks up the win and they retain. I'm not mad about this because New Day is right now the hottest thing they've got going. Between their heel work and Xavier Woods' channel, Up, Up, Down, Down, the New Day are riding high. So they should keep the belts on them to keep this momentum going, and then eventually drop the belts to the Dudleys. So, good on you. Good match. Next up, Nikki Bella versus Charlotte, Divas title. Now, a lot of people will probably say that Nikki carried Charlotte through this entire match, and I call those people crazy. Because we all know, if you've been watching NXT, as you should be, you know how damn good Charlotte Flair really is, especially when you put her in the ring with people like Bayley or Paige or Sasha Banks. But yeah, basically, Charlotte was just making Nikki look good, and this was actually a pretty good match. I'm not gonna, even though I don't like the Bella Twins specifically, as Iron Twister, one of my subs, would say, their theme music is like audible cancer. It nonetheless made this match look good. It seemed like Nikki was putting in more effort than she usually does, which is what I've wanted. But yeah, this was more of an uphill battle. If you've been a follower of Charlotte, you know that she was holding back a lot of this match. But yeah, there was some pretty good psychology, very interesting, and Charlotte picked up the win, so I'm happy. Nikki, you're getting better, but right now you and your sister just need to, as Invisible Man says, what's up, dude? Either you step away or you step up. One or the other. Next up, Seth Rollins defends his World Heavyweight title against Kane. Stipulation: if the Demon Kane fails to win the match, then Corporate Kane loses his job. Actually, this match was a lot better than it had a right to be. Despite Kane being one of the more senior members of the roster, he can still pull off a good match. A lot of people don't. He's very underrated. He is a solid competitor. He's not super duper great, but he's not oh my god terrible. He is just good enough to have a good match with pretty much anyone, if you in with the right circumstances. And this was a pretty great match. There was some stiff bumps in this one, and a lot more brutal than we like to be. I mean, a lot of people think that because the Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, Wyatt family match got scrapped, that they all had time to be more brutal, to expand upon the matches, that they got more brutal than they needed to be, which is good. This was a very good match. But of course, Kane loses because there's no way in hell they're going to take the belt off Seth Rollins and put it on Kane. Sorry, I love you, Kane, but no. So this means no more Director of Operations, and no more Troll Kane, and I am sad face. Moving on, we go to our last world title match for tonight. Ryback takes on Kevin Owens for the IC belt. This was probably the weakest match on the card, mostly because you really can't expect, like I've said before in a lot of videos, Ryback's not bad, it's just that he's limited. And when you put him in a ring with a guy as overwhelmingly talented and charismatic as Kevin Owens, you can only do so much. I mean, you can dress up a turkey sandwich as much as you want, it's still going to be a turkey sandwich. So this is what the match was. It was a turkey sandwich. Very tasty turkey sandwich, but not as good as the turkey of a sandwich that you can have. So yeah, Kevin hits the pop-up powerbomb, 1, 2, 3, he retains, no surprise there. And finally, the main event, the end-all, be-all, the apocalypse, the Ragnarok, the end of all things. The mayor of Suplex City versus the demon of Death Valley. The Phenom versus the one-man crime spree. The last outlaw versus the conqueror of nations. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. I will say this. This match is going to go up there with the all-time greatest Hell in a Cell matches. Taker versus Michaels. Taker versus Mankind. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H. They've not been that many great Hell in a Cell matches, but this one deserves to be. It was just what we needed. It was brutal. It was visceral. It was complete destruction, and I loved it. these two went balls deep. They were bleeding out the ass, doing shit that, as the spoony one would say, doing moves and spots that are banned in the WWE, but they gave them the leeway to do this because a match of this magnitude in this kind of environment, you need to go balls to the wall. We saw stiff shots, chair shots, bloody shots. We saw busted up and bloodied. We saw a doctor get chunked over the ring. We saw everything that you could possibly have in a match like this. The two of them just unleashed hell upon each other. Literally, hell in a cell. And at one point, Brock even starts tearing up the foam ring to expose the planks beneath it. For those of you out there who think that the wrestling ring is just a bunch of padding with some springs and what have you, that's really what's under there. There's a small layer of padding, and then underneath that is a bunch of boards. And he showed it, and doing that is a very big no-no in not just in the WWE, but in wrestling in general. But in certain situations, it can be allowed. And he ripped it open, and they were just destroying each other on it. And the end comes, it's so cathartic. That Undertaker does his little thing, and Brock Lesnar hits him with the mother of all low blows. I mean, I've seen a lot of brutal low blows before in my life, but that was probably the most brutal low blow that I've ever felt. I felt bad for the Undertaker. He just hauled up and just, I think I heard one of Undertaker's testicles pop, or his nuts must have shot up from his crotch through his stomach and wound up in his fucking throat. That's how stiff this was. If this were a lesser man, he would be split in fucking half from this low blow. It was that brutal. So Undertaker lands F5 onto the ports. 1, 2, 3. Brock wins. And he limps out of the ring triumphant. Undertaker pulls himself up, and he gets a 5-minute standing ovation from everyone in the arena. If Undertaker is not the greatest wrestler who ever lived, I don't know who else is. But just when you think it can, and just when things seem to settle down, the Wyatt family, the entire Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and Braun Strowman come to the ring, and Undertaker is in no condition to repel them, and they just pick him apart. And they just utterly beat the ever-loving shit out of them already bruised and battered Undertaker. And then they just carry him away into the darkness for whatever nefarious purposes they have. And that, my friends, was Hell in a Cell. My verdict? The build was terrible, but the payoff was awesome. This was probably one of the WWE's better pay-per-views. I cannot say that there is a terrible match in this entirety. Even the pre-show match was good. The weakest match I'd say was Kevin Owens versus Ryback, but it's a Ryback match. What can you expect? Nikki Bella did kind of step up in the women's title match. The first Hell in a Cell match is good. The tag team match was good. The return of El Patron was a mark-out moment for again. So again, I will put it in an annotation to show you my immediate reaction, because I knew from what they were saying I was going to mark out, and I did. But yeah, and The Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. Wow. So yeah, that's my video. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk about this amazing pay-per-view that had me marking out like a bitch, leave it below. I will get back to you. You want to support the channel? You know what to do. Like button, advertisements, tip jar is up there somewhere. Do whatever you want. I'm in good mood. First real video review since I've had my tooth removed. Look at that shit. But yeah. So until next time, it's been Shintigercurl. That dude in the straw hat saying good night and see see, see, see.